How many of us can relate to this? Mom, I'm hungry. Dad, I'm starving. When's dinner? Can I go into the kitchen and get me a snack? And your natural reaction is, you want to be, hey, go fix something to eat, it'll be alright. But right before that comes out of your mouth, you stop and think, man, what's the worst that could really happen? Sure, they might be able to cook the food, they might get it right, that would be awesome. But what happens if they burn the food? Or worse, burn the entire kitchen down because they just don't know what they're doing. How many of us have smoke detectors in our kitchen? Hallways, bedrooms, living rooms. Do you know? Or do you have to go look? Are you looking right now as you're watching this and I'm asking these questions? It's okay, take a look, because not having them could prove to be a fatal mistake. According to the website nfpa.org, on average, 7 people in the U.S. die from house fires per day. Cooking equipment is the leading cause of structure fires and injury, and it is tied in second with heating as the second most leading cause of death, where smoking is the first cause. So, for people who are trying to quit smoking, there's another great reason. 1, it causes cancer, and 2, if you're not careful, you can burn your house down. I'm here today to talk a little bit about smoke detectors, different kinds, the security they provide, and how to properly install them. Let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of smoke detectors. There's actually a couple of different kinds. You have a ionization, a photoelectric, or one that has a combination of both. Also, you can pair each one of those with a carbon monoxide detector for added security. Most commonly, most detectors run off a very simple 9-volt battery. If you don't purchase them that way, you can get them to where they're what's called hardwired into your house, which means you have to get an electric line and wire it in there. The smoke detectors you can also interconnect, which means if one goes off, they all go off. Lastly, there are some that have what's called a hush button for nuisance tripping. So if for some reason your alarm's going off, you look, there's no fire, your battery's fine, you very simply hit the button and it will turn off the alarm. Let's start about talking about the ionization smoke detectors. The way these guys work is they contain what's called an Americium-241 in an ionization chamber. It creates a current between 2 metal plates, and as the smoke rises, what it does is it interrupts the current in between the 2 plates, and it causes the alarm to go off. These guys are most commonly found in the kitchen, as you can see right there, right over my left shoulder, and that is an ionization. Photoelectric smoke detectors work a little bit differently. The way these guys work is they have a light source and a light sensitive electric sensor. These guys are set 90 degrees apart, so that way as you're normally using them, the electric light goes and it completely misses the sensor. But as the smoke starts to rise and it starts to hit the chamber, what it does is it causes the light to actually bend, and it causes it to hit the sensor, which in turn causes the sensor to go off. According to the International Association of Firefighters, the largest firefighter union in the US and Canada, in their 2008 conference, this is where they adopted their official position on, instead of recommending the one with both, they have gone to specifically recommending the one with just the photoelectric. Now, let's talk about the one with both. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. the one with both, has both the photoelectric and the ionization in it in one time. According to costhelper.com, the typical cost of an ionization alarm is anywhere from $15 to $60. The cost of a photoelectric is $20 to $80, and the cost of both is $20 to $40. Also, units with the carbon monoxide detectors run $40 to $80. Now that we have talked a little bit about the detectors, let's see what security they provide. In the ionization, it alarms quickly. All it takes is a small amount of smoke produced by fast flaming fires like cooking by paper or flammable liquids. There are some downfalls. If you have this in a high airflow environment, that means where the air is moving continuously, it's weaker and it takes longer for it to actually detect the fire. Also, what this guy has is what's called a nuisance trip. So let's say you have it in your kitchen and you're cooking with some bacon grease and you just happen to get the bacon grease a little too hot. Well, what happens is the sensor will go off. Sure, there's no fire, there's nothing wrong, but it's called a nuisance trip. That's why most commonly people with these in their kitchen will either unplug them or just simply take them down because they feel it's too much of a hassle. A statistic from the website nfpa.org, in 2009 to 2013, smoke alarms were present and sounded in only 53% of home fires reported in the U.S. fire departments. So that's saying 1 out of 2 fires, a smoke detector actually sounded. Photoelectric smoke detectors respond faster. It's in an earlier stage where the bigger combustion particles are made is what these guys pick up. This is also for a slow smoldering fire, which these guys usually occur at night, and the good news is there's less nuisance tripping. Both you think would be the best option, however, it's not. It, containing both, only has to have one working. There's no set standards for the industry, so if one works, according to the Underwriters Laboratory, it passes. Now we've seen the smoke detectors and the security they can provide, let's talk about how to install them. They install pretty well the same way. Everybody, whenever you purchase one, has a list of instructions. And they show right here your basic installation. What you have to do is you get these guys to start with, you drill a hole, you'll put them in your ceiling, and then you take your plate, line your holes with this hole and this hole, you mount them with these screws. Once you get everything in there and get them secure, you then take the front, on the front side of the plate, there's actually locks. You just go in, you lock it, twist it in place, and it stays mounted. We've just discussed a little bit about smoke detectors, how to choose the correct kind, and how to install them correctly. I know me personally, I didn't realize there were this many kinds. I was always the type of person that, oh, let's grab this one because it's the cheapest, I'll put it up and it's fine. Well, after doing a little bit of research on this, it's kind of made me change my ways. You know, because truthfully, now it's worth the little bit more money, because what is your family security really worth? Is it worth $15 with an ionization that might nuisance trip that isn't quite as strong? Or is it worth $30 with a photoelectric that's a lot stronger that does not nuisance trip? So that question is one you'll have to answer.